their ID.
Okay, so let's talk more about this. Steve Carbo is with demos.org, which is working on voter registration. He joins us from New York, and Keith Appel is a Republican strategist who joins us from Washington. Steve, let me talk to you first, because in looking at Drew's piece, we're talking about, what, hundreds, perhaps even thousands of false information here on voter registration applications, and that's the ones that have been spotted. I mean, are these numbers inflated here, or is Acorn truly involved in voter fraud?
Well, I think we need to be clear about what voter fraud is. The record shows that it's exceedingly rare for individuals to show up on the polls on Election Day and pretend to be other people, to vote twice, to vote illegally. That's the kind of voter fraud.
But isn't something inherently wrong if the information on the application is incorrect? We've seen other cases where you've got the Dallas Cowboys listed on applications in Nevada.
That's right, and what we're seeing is that the system is working. It's picking up questionable voter registration forms so that those folks don't get onto the voter rolls. If someone registers, for instance, as Jimmy John's and it's a restaurant chain, or Mickey Mouse, you don't see Mickey Mouse showing up on Election Day saying, I'm Mickey Mouse and I want to vote today.
All right, let me bring you in, Keith. I mean, do you agree that, hey, this is okay as long as it doesn't happen on Election Day? You don't see these people showing up when it's not really them?
Betty, Acorn is under investigation in no less than 9 different states. This is not an isolated incident. It starts to border on a political version of organized crime that threatens the integrity and the very outcome of this election. And the Obama campaign, as you reported, has contributed $800,000 to the Acorn efforts. What is happening here is Acorn has already admitted it has registered 1.3 million voters. Just to do the quick math, 1/10 of that amount of voters would have changed the outcome of the 2004 election in Ohio alone. It would have changed the entire outcome of the election. That's why this is so serious and so suspicious.
Okay, Steve, I'm going to let you respond to that, because the accusation here is that the Obama campaign has supported Acorn's efforts by contributing some $800,000. Is this something that is being trying to...
That's public record they have.
Yeah, exactly. But is the campaign trying to skew this election? Are you finding any truth in that?
Well, I mean, I don't work for the campaign, so I can't comment on the Obama campaign. What I do know this year is that we've got millions of people who are excited about the election, who want to get out to vote for the first time, many of them young people, and we need to make sure that our election system will work so that they will have an opportunity to cast a ballot and that that vote will count. And we've seen that our election system is really having a hard time being able to accommodate the surge in voter interest this year.
Mm-hmm. When you have an investigation going on in 9 different states of the same organization, something is wrong. And when that organization has claimed on its own to have registered 1.3 million voters, then you have a very serious situation developing. The problem, Betty, is that there's such a huge volume in registration that local election boards, state election boards, don't have the manpower, don't have the wherewithal to contend with the overwhelming amounts of fraudulent registrations.
Okay, but
so
to be fair here,
Keith,
there are also accusations that right-wing groups are handing out flyers to low-income families, to college students, saying, look, if you show up on Election Day to vote, you could be arrested for outstanding traffic violations, for warrants, for whatnot. Is that really happening?
Well, I'm not sure. If you have any evidence of that, I'd be, let's have Drew Griffin report about that. That may happen from time to time, but this time...
Well, there are cases when it comes to Drexel University where students have already reported that this is happening.
Well, like I said, that may happen from time to time. I don't doubt that. What we're talking about is a systematic, organized effort to defraud voters. Everyone should have a right to vote. I agree with Steve on that. But everyone should have a right to vote once. And if you're registered 50 times, or if you get to vote 50 different times in several different counties in Ohio or Nevada or Michigan or any of these battleground states where the election could be decided, then that completely ruins the integrity and fairness and, of course, affects the outcome of the election.
All right, very quickly, in one sentence, if you could, each of you, what needs to be done to make sure that this election is fair?
Well, I think that voters should do a couple things to make sure that they're able to cast a ballot this year and that their votes are going to count. They should call their local election officials, a local election office, and verify that their registration is active. They should bring identification, proof of residency with them to the polls. Mm-hmm. They should be wary of the kind of leafleting of misinformation that you mentioned is happening in Philadelphia. There were 2 reports already this week. And if there are any problems, they should call 866-OUR-VOTE, which is a nationwide hotline to respond.
All right,
to
Steve,
these
you've gone over the one-sentence limit. Keith, very quickly, what should be done?
Well, I think the courts need to be sympathetic to the complaints that come in about this because of the overwhelming and systematic process that has been undertaken by Acorn and other groups to try to defraud this election.
All right, both of you, we do appreciate it. It's obviously a hot-button issue, and it's something that a lot of people want resolved on all sides.